Dude, that worked out perfect. And that
Finally, right?
hasn't worked out like that in a long time. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got 15 eyeballs in the room already. Uh our software went back to the original way it was before. So I panicked when everything came on because I had to figure out how to rework it again. And I think it actually flowed better than it did with the other way. So I think I'm happy with
No, it
the
was good.
way it came out. I
No, it
think
was good. Solid.
uh we'll see how it goes. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to South Texas Football Unlimited, the Coastal Bend's first original uh only podcast slash webcast.
Pretty
Uh,
much.
maybe something brought to you by Dawson's Recycling. Ryan Lenny, dude, there's a Refugio Sports Network sighting, dude.
Wow.
We haven't heard, dude. You're are I tried messaging you the other day, Ryan, because I needed some stats, and I couldn't find your Facebook. Like it didn't show up in my chat thing. It's good
It
to
is.
see that it's good to see that you're back. We've missed y'all. We've definitely missed y'all. We have not had any good Refugio information all season, right?
Yeah.
All
Pretty,
season.
pretty low
Um,
key.
yeah. So thanks, Ryan, for checking in. A little news. So we're gonna kind of jumble things around today. We've got a mystery guest coming on today. Mystery guest that we haven't seen since August, right? Right? Like on the show,
Yes.
right? Since
August.
August. So you guys will. Oh, they got banned. Wow, cool.
What? Um,
Uh, but so yeah, so we've got a mystery guest coming on. We're gonna start with that, and then we'll jump into the what happens with last week and going into this coming week. But some news, guys. The hats, as you can see, I've got a new hat on. This was my own custom hat that I had made. I had to send Justin's back because they kind of messed up on it. So it is coming. But that guys, everybody that ordered a hat, I think we sold 40 hats close to, right?
yeah.
Something like
Pretty,
that.
pretty good number.
So guys, thank you. I mean, it wasn't something we planned on doing. We didn't plan on making hats for everybody, but they took off. And man, we appreciate you repping the brand. They made it pretty far, right? What's the furthest you sent one?
I sent one out to Wisconsin. No, no, no,
Wisconsin,
no, no, Minnesota. Sorry, St. Paul,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. So they've made it pretty far. We've had some other folks reach out. Unfortunately, we are out, and I don't think we're going to send another order in. I think we're good for one hat a year, right?
One hat a year is cool.
One hat a
Keep
year.
it exclusive.
Yeah, I think so. So thank you everybody for getting a hat from us. Some other news. Primo's Yard Service checking in. What's up, Jesse? Mike Salinas, news over in Kingsville. Head football coach Mike Salinas has been promoted to the permanent AD. He's been filling that interim role since the AD stepped down or left. What, about a month ago?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, and I think that's a good fit for him. I think Mike did a pretty good job in Kingsville the last couple of years with what he was, the cards at hand there. I told you today, I was like, that's a tough job. I feel like that's just a tough job to win at nowadays.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's in a kind of a weird spot on the map, and then you have now the UTRGV.
Yep.
Bringing a D1 football program in, UTSA and Texas State, always were, I think, probably with UTSA coming on board was a big blow. But yeah, man, it's kind of interesting to see where they go with that job. I know the DC, I think, took over for now. He's filling in the shoes of
Yes.
Mike the last couple of weeks of the season. But how's their season gone? I feel like they've won some games this year.
So they're 8-3, I think, is what I saw, but he's 26-19 in 5 seasons, 3 consecutive winning seasons. The first time since 2004 that's happened.
Yeah.
So Mike did some good things. We had Mike on the show, I think, when he first got hired, right?
Yep.
And we haven't had him back on, and that's our fault. And
we've seen him, but we haven't had him back on.
Yeah, we've seen him, but we haven't had him back on. But he's done a great job with what he's got. They upgraded the locker rooms, right? That was a big thing for them the last couple of years. But man, they still need to work on some things down there. And these, I mean, if you think about some of the alumni that have come out of there that have gone on to the NFL and done things, man, give a little bit back, guys. And I don't know if they are. They may, and I'm just kind of just poking the bear. But I mean, yeah. What's up, Mondo QB1 checked in. Angelo State, get out of here. Get out of here, Jesse. Some other news. Ray Castillo, our friend over at the Caller Times, did a great story on Alice Memorial Stadium. So as you guys know, the Sky Dome is getting demolished I think starting in August, or maybe sooner, maybe after the new year. because they passed that bond to build a new stadium. So they had their last home game there, this playoff game. They got an extended one. I think we talked about it last week. You guys waxed poetic on the stadium there for a while. We kind of got off track last week during the live show. You and Brian and Blake was chiming in there. So he did a really good story, interviewed some of the folks that have played there, some longtime fans, some longtime teachers. So if you guys have a time, go check out the Caller Times article on it. It is a free article. Everybody likes free.
Yeah.
But we like those guys. Subscribe to the paper. They've got some good stories and there's some interesting things in there. That's why we haven't really shared a whole lot of stuff, because it's behind a paywall. And we like those guys. They do a good job. We want to help support with what they do.
I mean, that's their livelihood. So
it is.
I like Ray, and I like Q and Lynn, who's stepped up into bigger roles now and whatnot. Lynn was always great when he's on with us at the paper, but they've always been a really good help to us. So the paywall's not a lot of money. Get on board. It's got some good stuff every now and then, and they get out the freebies like this. So support those guys.
I think it's right now. I think you get it for like $1.
Probably.
Right now. I think so. So yeah, support your local guys. Some other news. You shared this with me today, and we put it out on the interwebs. Was Drew Brees popping up on the Colin Cowherd show today? I have no idea what the conversation was about. I'm not a big Colin fan. Had to do some of the Broncos. If you looked at the headline,
yeah, some of the Broncos. I think it was Sean Payton and Bo Nix. They were discussing that.
Oh, right? Is that what it was?
Probably.
But
Bo Nix in a similar role that Drew Brees was.
The biggest thing, and I'll pull it up right here, is a GP hat in the background.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. National TV. Right. Get a little GP representation. For those of you guys who don't know, he is the grandson of legendary Wildcat coach Ray Akins, who the stadium is now named.
I would like to see if any of the followers in there kind of know the era of that hat, because I can tell you right now, I don't remember that logo in my entire time being here. And I don't really remember ever seeing that hat sold. I want to say that's his grandpa's hat.
Somebody was chiming in the comments.
I want to say that's his grandpa's hat, because if you go back and look at some old school photos of Coach Akins, that hat and that logo that's where I'd seen it before. So I'm just curious if that was one of Ray's, last coaching hats when he was coaching the Wildcats, obviously, because that would make sense on why Drew's got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, we'll talk about it offline. I got an idea. Anyways, so that was pretty cool. Some other news that popped up that's kind of disconcerting to me is the Friday Night Lights reboot that they're talking about. Have you seen this?
Yeah. So what's the deal? Like, they're just going to restart showing the TV series on TV again? Is that what?
So supposedly it's supposed to take place in the same universe or the same. Would you call it a universe? It's for real. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything. But it's supposed to take place in the same universe, different characters. I don't know if there's going to be different schools or what. But, I'm a fan of the TV show. I like the TV show. I'll go on a binge and watch it all over again. I think the only thing that needs to be redone or probably slashed from the record is season 2, where Landry killed a guy. Spoiler alert. If you guys hadn't seen it yet, this thing's over almost 20 years old. Okay. So if I'm spoiling it for you, tough. But that was that's when the writers went on strike and they had to put this whole storyline together. Landry killed a dude and essentially got away with it. And then Landry's dad disappeared. Landry's dad disappeared from the picture after that because his dad was the cop. And it was wild.
I forgot about that. You know what? That's gonna make me go back and watch that series. Honestly, I liked it. I had the box set of it. That looked really good. So that's interesting. So they would just come out with a completely new set of characters.
I think so.
I'd have a hard time figuring out who's going to play the new Tim Riggins, because he was awesome. Easily. Yeah. Like Saracen, that's you can find another guy. Street, you can find another guy. Minka Kelly's character, you can find another guy. Buddy Garrity's got to be Buddy Garrity. There's no other way.
Buddy Garrity
is Brad Garrity in the movie too.
The movie, Brad Leland was the same guy in the movie, right? He played the same booster essentially.
It's and same with the wife.
Yes, she was
twice now.
She was Billy Bob's wife. Yeah, she was Coach's wife.
I almost strayed too far, but did you also see Billy Bob is back in the land of Mojo?
in Landman, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen like the trailer for it or anything. I've just seen it and I saw that he's there. So it's supposed to be in Midland or in the basin.
It's in basically in the basin, but there was a scene that's like really controversial. We won't talk about it right now, but you can look it up later. But he's at an Odessa Permian game and he's talking with his daughter, and it kind of ventures. It's kind of crazy. Taylor Sheridan's actually taking a lot of heat for this scene, but yeah, he's back in the mode. He's back in the mojo. They're highlighting all kinds of like scenes out of Ratcliffe Stadium and whatnot. It's pretty badass.
So is it
Back. He's
is it
not a
set?
coach. He's a landman. He's like a foreman in the oil field.
So but is it like based like now? Or is it like based in the 80s?
I think now, dude. I actually think he might be a sheriff. I'm not exactly sure what his role is, but he has something to do with the oil fields and I think crime too. I've only seen bits and pieces, but I think it's based in the now.
Okay.
But I think it's based in the now.
It's on Paramount. Paramount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have Paramount.
I don't either.
I think Sheridan's got to deal with that guy. But you remember that guy that we met at the EV thing? The general manager?
Yeah.
He's part of the Sheridan's little thing there in Austin.
Really?
I thought he was.
Probably.
Maybe I'm wrong. Dave, there, look at that. Dirty Dave checks in. It's based now. I guess he's already seen it.
Oh, okay. He's checking. Of course, Dave's involved.
Man, I wish I could
like that scene we're talking about, Dave.
I wish I could pull this profile picture up and share the screenshot of Dave so we could see who people could see the Dave.
Dave saved a man.
Dave saved a man. Oh man! And then before,
like great guy, Dave saved
Dave saved a guy. Our mystery guest is going to be checking in here sometime soon. So let's jump into this last topic here, and it's kind of suitable for what we're going to talk about in today's episode is first round blowouts.
Yeah.
For every Van Vleck versus Blanco game we have, where your 4th seed beats a 1 seed, you get 3 to 4, maybe even to 5 blowouts, and they are bad. I'm going to share a tweet with you that Javier Ramirez tagged us in today. And Javier is the guy who does our Player of the Week graphics. So we'll give him a follow. He does a lot of freelance work on the side. Give him a follow. And we're very appreciative for it. So 4A D1 top 10 in by district, which is probably your 1 seeds versus your 4 seeds.
Yeah.
75-0, 76-12, 70-0, 42-14, 66-6, 91-18, 87-0. This was the close one, which was Pine Tree against Bridge City, 35-28, which essentially could have been like that Van Vleck Blanco game, because that little region district there is pretty tough. Those two areas right next to each other. And we got a homeboy there from Bridge City. That's where Kirk's from. Do you know that?
Yep.
Yeah. And 49-14 and 55-14. A lot of folks will say, and I was a defender of it, right? A lot of folks will say we've got too many teams in the playoffs. I do like to see the Cinderella story pop up where that 4 seed beats the 1 seed. And just like you said, you brought up a valid point with Lindale, right?
Yes.
Which was a 4 seed in a very stacked district and came out and won.
That district they're in's got Kilgore, Longview, Pine Tree, and what's the other one that's sitting in there? Lindale, obviously.
I got the bracket right here.
And there's one more. Is it Van?
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Are they D1 or D2?
D1.
They're D1. Okay, I pulled up the wrong one. Lindale. Oh, let me make this bigger.
Dave, I see Edna going to at least region finals, possibly state semis. Pretty deep run.
Actually,
is it D2?
They've got to be D2 because they're not here in D1.
Okay, check D2. Kilgore, Lindale, Pine Tree. I want to say Van.
Yeah, dead air.
Oh, no. It's not Van. It's Chapel Hill.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's Highland Chapel Hill.
Yep.
Solid. Coming off of state semi run 2 years ago.
Yep.
Pine Tree, same boat. They only lost to Kilgore. Kilgore's got 3 losses, but if you look at the losses, they're like insane teams. Like it's a pretty tough schedule. So yeah, no, that's the part where I can deal with. I like football, man. I like high school football. I can deal with the 90-14 thumping if it means that we have a 4th seed team somewhere out there that is worthy to continue making runs. And I think you can make that argument that yeah, it's worth it. It makes the playoffs last a little longer. It gives us something to do. And yeah, you're gonna have it. What I think a way to get around that, and it's kind of hard, do better on your freaking alignments.
And that's the tough part, right?
You're only putting 4 teams in a district. Figure something out. Do something different. Maybe the surrounding areas can help out and not fib on numbers if that's the case, and try to push guys up that really should be down in classification. And I get it. It's a money thing. But that's really where it lies. Because we used to not have these issues. The alignments have gotten really, really, really stretched over the last 10 years just because of numbers and people moving and stuff like that, really in the metroplexes.
And we talked about it during the playoff show last week where you saw San Saba, who's usually Region 2, Region 1 sometimes, is down here in Region 4.
Exactly.
And Lampass is up in Region 1.
Yeah, so it's like you are when you have only 4 teams in a district, then yeah, you're gonna
Kingsville's not a first seed.
You're probably gonna have a blowout when they have to play a team like Sinton. But I don't think that should take away from the other 4 seeds out there that are competitive, because I love high school football. It gives us more of it, and I think I like that every now and then you'll see a 4 seed make a run. I think Lindo could bang with anyone in that region. Lindo is a 4 seed; they could very easily come out and be a region finalist or state semifinalist, right? Just as well as they could very easily just get blown off the sheets this week. You never know. So usually round 1 is where you're gonna have the issues, right? But I think from here on out, you're going to see pretty damn competitive football for the most part.
I think so. And
every single bracket.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about when we get into the playoff talk, and I'll save that little topic for later. But in the meantime, our mystery guest is there. He's had a long day at practice, probably a long school day. So let's go ahead and let our mystery guest in. Long time listener. I'm now embellishing. Long time listener, first time, third time caller. Calallen Athletic Director, Head Coach Charlie Reeve. Coach, thank you for jumping in this afternoon. We really appreciate it. This evening.
You got it.
See, so I don't know if you watched the show last week. Probably not, because you were probably getting ready, had better things to do. But you have this intense look. You have this intense look on your face right now. I'm surprised you're smiling. It probably hurts your cheeks to smile.
But hey, you gotta laugh out of them. There you go. You distinguish. You gotta laugh out of them.
Every game we've gone to, we've gone to a few Calallen games this year. You just have this stoic look. I was like, man, this guy he's gonna stroke out on the sideline because he's so intense. But Coach, we're glad you're able to come on today. We know you just got done with practice. You've got a lot to go on.
Sure.
We're not going to take up too much of your time. And we know you've heard a lot of it, but we want to hear for ourselves, and we haven't heard this part. What was it like last week? You had the interview leading up to it, what you thought it was going to be like. What was it like coaching against your brother?
It was different for sure. It's bittersweet. Obviously it's, unless you're in it, you really don't understand, how much time and effort, goes into each week. And, the bad part was at the end of the day, somebody was going to go home, and that's always a tough deal. And, it's better to be on this side of it, but they're a really good team. And, there were so many dynamics that went into that game. Obviously my brother being on the other side, but also too is, our 2 programs are so similar. And offensively, it's the same system. And so, throughout the week, we know what they do and they know what we do. And so, there's a lot of chasing ghosts in the fact of what if they do this? What if they do that? And I think at the end of the day, you just got to do what you do. But and then my son plays. His son actually was the starting quarterback the other night. So there was a lot of dynamics that went into it. I'm glad that week's over. It was happy for our kids, happy for our community, and that was a big win for us. So, we're glad we're still in it.
Did you get a lot of grief from the kids leading up to it?
You know what? It was the kids really probably rallied around it more than I did.
Oh yeah.
I saw some nice, during the season. I don't, other than I get on X a little bit, but I saw some fun memes of that popped up. But no, the kids, they kind of rallied around it, and it was, from that sense, it was fun.
I've seen your I think it may be your younger boy. He's what, maybe 8, 9.
He's the ball boy.
12. Yeah, youngest one's 12.
Okay, I've seen him before, and he looks very competitive. So I'm pretty sure that dude's happy as hell going into Thanksgiving. There's no doubt about that. I could just tell when I've seen him before that if anyone was rallying around someone, it was him in that household. I would put money on it.
Yeah,
I would do the same thing if I was him.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, man. It was unique to say the least. But it was a fun game, and we're happy we came out on top.
Y'all have coached on staffs together before in the past, correct?
We first coached together when my dad was at Cuero. He was the offense coordinator. I coached defensive ends and wide receivers that year, and then before I went to East, he was the head coach at New Caney, and I was the OC for him for 3 years. So, like I said, our programs are
similar.
Very, very similar. Especially offensively. I mean, we're same terminology, same system, and so it made for we basically had to scrap all of our signals last week, and everything was off wristbands, and there was some different signals that went on through the game that. We had to play, little mind tricks here and there, but it made it for a fun game.
No Connor Stein stuff going on, though, right?
No. We didn't have anybody on their sideline.
So I don't know if anybody's asked you this. I know we haven't. How much of both of y'all's offensive philosophy comes from your dad?
I think a lot. Obviously the offense has evolved a lot since. Since we played in that system, but terminology, is very similar to what I ran, in high school. Now there's a lot of things that I've taken from different places, and but as far as terminology and formations and a lot of that kind of stuff, I mean, it's very similar. Schematics have changed, and it's obviously evolved, but. The roots of that offense, kind of start back from my dad and when we were in high school.
What do you think of the modern age of football with the analytics and it almost seems like they're just every year there's a new gimmick on what they're trying to push out there versus, just the clean cut old school football that your dad coached versus nowadays where it's almost like you have to kind of try to find something new and revolutionary. Well, what's your take on that?
I think it's. I'll be honest. I think a good example of that is the introduction to technology. In the press box and in halftime this year. I would rather go back and not have it. I think that's part of the game. That's part of from a coaching side is old school having to. Have people in the box that are drawing stuff up and making adjustments on the run and having to see what they're actually doing instead of just getting on an iPad and watching the replay of it. I like that part of the game. I think that's kind of what separates or used to separate, a lot of coaching staffs is just your game day organizational stuff and how you manage the sideline and how you manage the press box. But obviously, if the technology is there and everybody else is using it, then you got to stay up with it. Obviously, we do, it's just like anything else. The game evolves, and you gotta evolve with it. I don't think in the very near future that I think there's probably going to be communication in the headsets or in the helmet, before too long.
Yeah,
I don't think that's far away. Everything, especially with us in Texas high school football, everything kind of trickles down from the college game. Right now, as far as instant replay goes, we can only have that in the press box, and then we can show it to our kids at halftime. But I don't think it's going to be long until that shows up on the sidelines as well. Most other states already do that. So you got to evolve with the times, but I do think that it kind of takes away from the gamesmanship of it, and coaches really having to have an eye to see what's going on and making adjustments.
That's good tape.
Yeah. Coach, I know we're not going to take up too much of your time. We told you to take about 15 minutes or so, but I have one more question before we go. Well, actually, so you got a big game coming up next week. You got Somerset, actually this week, that you guys are playing on the road. Actually, not very far, across town in Justin's backyard. I don't know if you remember, Justin's a Wildcat himself. So that's going to be a big one you guys are getting ready for. Somerset, traditionally strong running team, and they've got a pretty good head coach there, in Coy Detmer, following his legendary coach's dad himself, right? I'm not gonna ask you what your thoughts on the game or anything like that, but you've got a big one for the folks that are watching. There's a big game coming up, and it's gonna be across town, in the general area. So if you guys don't have anything to do, that's going to be a pretty good one. I would head out to Ray Aiken Stadium and try to get you some tickets. Are they on sale already, Coach? Through the
Yeah, they're on sale. Everything's online, and so yeah, come on out. Ought to be a good game. They got a really good team. So
are y'all the home on that game?
We are the home. So
how the heck did that work out? Because I saw there's a halfway meeting at y'all stadium same night. How did that work out?
Well, there's not a whole lot of neutral sites, between us, and the few places that were neutral were already booked up or they weren't hosting. So we ended up just going home neutral and, won the flip there. So that's the deal. This time of year, it's, finding places to play and it's finding somebody that's going to host a game, and then you got to get on a list and then, hopefully, it works out. But yeah, I mean, we're happy to be playing close and hopefully we bring a good crowd.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be quite a few folks there. I mean, and we're not going to be shy about it. A lot of folks thought you guys were going to be a little down this year, man. But as the season went on, you guys just kept getting better and getting better and getting better. And as a head coach coming to a new program like that, not having the personnel that you would that would fit better with your system, you guys played very, very well this season.
I'll tell you what, our goal from the get-go was to play our best football in November. I think that's where we are. I think we're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And, early on, and the great thing about our system is we can mold it to our personnel, and year in and year out, we're going to use the same terminology. We're not changing offenses, but we're going to cater to what our strengths are. And so I think early on it was, we don't have spring ball. Obviously you don't know until you get pads on. And so early on, I think we were still kind of finding out exactly who we were and what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And I think we're playing to those strengths now. But we've got phenomenal kids, and we've got great leadership on our team. Those guys have bought in and put a lot of work in since really April, and it's really nice to see just the fruit of their labor, and I'm happy for those guys.
Yeah, and if you guys remembered back, if you guys watched the preseason kickoff show, we had the Calon guys in there. Their motto was "Return to the Standard," or and looks like you guys are doing it. You guys are doing a very good job of it. So congratulations to you, coach, and your staff, and the team.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
one more thing, you again with the intensity and things like that. What kind of workout are you doing? We seen you on the sideline. You're not a very like scrawny dude. You're a pretty stout looking guy. What are you doing there to keep to keep yourself going?
A lot of Red Bull and
Sounds like an operator.
yeah.
It's funny. During the season, I don't eat real well. I don't sleep real well. I usually lose about 20 pounds. Throughout the course of a season, and then Christmas comes and you eat all the all the treats and snacks and all the stuff that goes with Christmas, and I usually gain it back by about March. And
it's harvest season.
So it's always kind of a constant cycle, So I'll start out the season in extra large and usually end, in a large. So I always try to plan. I order my shirts a little bit smaller just because I know by the midway point of the season I'm going to be about 15, 20 pounds lighter. So there's not a whole lot of working out going on. It's just not living right.
Yeah, I guess the life of an athletic director / head football.
We're lucky because you could be the guy that's gaining 20 pounds a year.
Yeah.
So
yeah. My wife worries about me, but I live on a lot of energy drinks and which is probably not real good. So
yeah. Well, Coach, thanks again.
All right.
Thanks again. Yeah, that's our life. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you'll live.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, Coach. We appreciate it. Good luck this week. I'll say it. We've got you guys. I mean, sorry, Somerset guys, but we've got you guys protected at least to the next round.
For sure.
Wow.
And if everything picks out the way it goes, I mean, it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup round 3 as well.
Sure. Yeah. We got a big one Friday, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep. All right, Coach. Again, thanks for coming on, guys. Callum Athletic Director, Head Football Coach Charlie Reef. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Yep. We'll see you. He's a solid dude, man.
Oh, he is. Hey, come on, dude! You're freaking jinxing it like that, man.
That was not a jinx, dude.
He had to shut that down quick.
Oh,
dude.
fast. Yeah,
dude, you're in trouble with Beck. I can tell you right now.
Oh yeah. Well, God, yeah, he's a solid dude, and a lot of folks remember when we had him on right after his press conference when he was in the parking lot of Mike Cotton's and the battery ran out on his truck. People weren't happy with that hire, right? A lot of folks in Calallen were very upset. I think I think if not all have changed their tune very fast.
Yeah, no, for sure. He I think people right there thought there's a fire. I think people
grab your stuff.
Yeah, that were worried that he was going to have this just offensive gimmick, not bring a lot of defense to the table, because I think that was some of the knock that I think kind of came with his hire and whatnot. But I don't see that being like an issue right now. I feel like their defense has played pretty good. I feel like the offenses came around really well, and for the most part, I'm pretty sold on what I'm seeing over there. And I get it. They haven't really had the full offseason to get his guys in there, and that's kind of hard to say because, like, as a coach, you don't want to throw these dudes under the bus because they're playing well for you. But I do think, like, given a year or two, and you have a chance to work with your junior high and kind of progress your quarterbacks to what you want and your terminology as it goes by, I think they're just going to get better and better. And I've always thought that Calallen had athletes over there that people just didn't give credit for just because they were hitting in that offensive style that Danaher and them ran for years. So I think it's interesting with Charlie and running the show.
I think so too. Hey, newsflash here. About an hour ago, Grayson Rigdon, D1 offer from NC State.
Really? He's committing on 25th to someone.
Yeah. Well, that's next week. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's another one. Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with Grayson Rigdon, the most prolific player in Texas six-man football history, we're making waves at 3A Columbus right now. They're on a path to try to get to a state championship. Yeah. Kids won a state championship every team he's been on.
They're in for a dogfight right now. They got a pretty tough road to get there. That region's tough, dude, but I think they can do it. I really do.
Yep. I think that's all we have right now before we take a break.
Yes.
So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll be talking playoffs. So hang tight, guys. We'll be right back.
An owner of Al Williford Chevrolet in Portland, where we've been family owned since 1984. One word that we love around here is community. We have a heart for the Coastal Bend, which is why we value people first. Whether you're in the market for a new Chevrolet or a quality pre-owned vehicle, our friendly sales professionals are eager to help. We also have an amazing full-line service department featuring genuine GM parts and accessories to keep your vehicle running and looking its best. Plus, for life's accidents, we have a fantastic collision center where we repair all makes and models and work with most insurance carriers. Remember, when you buy from us, we're not looking for a one-time sale. We look forward to building a relationship together for years to come. Thank you, and we invite you to join the Al Williford Chevrolet family.
See that view of 181 that is in that video?
Yeah.
No longer looks like that. It's a whole lot better.
Hey, 1 second. He'll text me when he's on his way. Sorry. Hat pickups.
Yeah. So if you guys are in the market for a new or used vehicle, or need some body work done, go see our friends down at
I was thinking about the other day. I was like, because the way Brian's dealership is set up, it's right there off the road and everything. But like, I pass it every day, and I have to take the little exit that kind of crosses on that little ramp they're building right there, in front of Jersey Mike's and whatnot. It kind of sucks, man, because the ramp going up to it really just blocks the view of at least half of his dealership, the main hub, you know?
Yeah.
It kind of stinks on where the setup for that was for him, you know? It takes away from the deal. Of course, if you're on the on-ramp or whatever, you can see it, but when you're passing the main stop, it's the same way. It kind of kills that front entranceway that they used to have so nicely set up.
Yeah. So don't forget about these guys, even though you can't see their sign or the building with the new construction going on. They're going to take care of you. You know, they're going to take care of you.
Reading one of those signs, it's like way up in the air, dude. Higher than the towers.
Way up. Oh, yeah.
Like a light on it. It's got Brian in the sky. He's just
you got it. Yeah.
He's just floating with his Sinton versus everybody shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Just a Lina hat on.
So last week, the bi-district rounds, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises in this first round, right? You saw the blowouts. I think probably the biggest win or the biggest thing that happened last week was the 32-point dog that happened. It was Shadow Creek going down to Fort Bend Elkins, 31-28. Elkins was a 32-point underdog in that game, and they come out a 3-point victory. So that's probably I think as far as big schools go, I think that's the biggest shocker so far in the first round of the playoffs, which I mean, you're going to happen. You see some others, Pilot Point, Mejia. Pilot Point was a 26-point dog, and they ended up winning 36-32. That was another one, but I think all the other ones are kind of smaller schools that came on top.
While we're on big schools, I want to get your take on this because I've been following it all year. Now I've kind of gotten you ventured over into this DFW page. So
they are ruthless in there, dude.
Fighting with North Crowley over Duncanville and DeSoto and all these guys, or are we rooting for Duncanville to up in the North Crowley crew because they're loud, because they're having a good year? I kind of feel like riding with North Crowley, dude.
Well, dude, I mean, it's just like
I always love to root for Duncanville just because I really just like the program. I love everything about it. But I want to ride with North Crowley a little bit on this one.
You want to see the little guys, dude. In this case, I mean, they're not the little guys, right? But you want to see
different. It's different.
You want to see a change. You want to see a change, right? You want to see that belt or that crown be passed, right? You want to see
DFW's not happy about it. Except if you're a North Crowley boy, they're excited about it. But everyone else out there, dude, it's just hate everywhere. It's just hate.
Yeah. They call them NC. They don't call them North Crowley. They call them NC.
Dude, yeah.
I
like it, dude. That page keeps me entertained, dude.
Dude, they're ruthless in there, dude. It's
There's
like
some regulars in there, dude.
it's like how the forums used to be.
Yeah.
But it is. Yeah, in a public forum. I mean, you got to sign up to join the group. It took us. I didn't think they were going to prove ours, because I didn't lie on the thing and say that we were from DFW. I mean, obviously our name is South Texas Football Unlimited. It's kind of a giveaway, but they approved my membership. So the page is in there now, and I'm just kind of seeing all these things that pop up, and there's people in there all the time, dude.
We better tag them on this show tonight and say they got some run on this.
Well, that's one of the rules. I don't want to get kicked out, dude, so I can't do that.
Really?
Yeah. So that was one of no spam, no posting of this, no posting of that. So maybe I'll just cut a reel this section and then put it in there, and then we'll see what happens.
They ain't gonna kick it out. They love it, dude. They love it.
So 6A, we didn't talk about 6A last week. We're not really gonna talk about 6A again this week. So we'll just start with 5A D1. There was no big surprises, right? I mean, there was a lot of blowouts. Everybody you saw was going to make it, but you have a lot of matchups now. This is what I was going to talk about earlier, not just in 5A, but across the board. Because of realignment, the way things landed, you've got some second round matchups that could be regional semifinals or even region final matchups.
Yep.
That are happening. And some of these that with, like we talked about Lampasas and San Saba, being in different regions now, those are potentially state finals, right? That's the only way you would have seen these teams play.
Yep.
So that's pretty neat in that case. But like you said, that the realignments, it was really weird this year. You do have you've got a couple 4-team districts where everybody gets in. You saw that last week with sitting in Grula, putting up 86, I think, right? Is that what it was?
Yes.
86, something like that, right? And it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's just the valley is growing so fast. There's no small schools down there anymore, hardly. But I mean that growth is really there in that McAllen area. McAllen, Sherryland.
I was talking to a guy, he's from the Valley today. Well, yesterday actually. He was talking about, the 956, they have San Antonio this week, I think.
Yes.
He was like, hey, who do y'all boys have? And I said, dude, I was like, San Antonio and maybe in Austin here or there, but I was like, San Antonio?
So
y'all aren't going. He's like, y'all aren't going north further. I was like, dude, for the most part, we got lumped in. Like we're part of the valley now, in a sense, when it comes to our district settings.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we're either playing a valley local or we're going straight to San Antonio for sure. Round 2, we're in SA.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. And
which is where we're at right now.
Yes.
So
yeah, the alignments have been kind of crazy, and I don't know what you do about it. That's a good off-season show. We do some actual research. I would like to do some actual research on these 0-4s in these districts that have had like maybe only 4 teams make, and just see like if there's other options. What's the deal? Because that's a hell of a job, and I'm not bashing them because I think it's hard, but to make everyone happy. But I feel like the growth in certain areas has really kind of stretched.
Yeah.
These regions pretty taut, and then you have money issues with schools like Victoria West. Couldn't they somehow? I'm glad they were able to get someone to fund the bus for the.
Well, I think it was a GoFundMe, right? Mean that community. So we didn't talk about that last week, right? So it was a post going around that Victoria West wasn't going to be able to send their band or their cheerleaders or their dance team to Gregory Portland.
Yep.
What is that? 60 miles? 65 miles? And now, they're going to where are they going? Let me see. 5A D2. They're coming back this way again. No, actually, where are they playing? Victoria West and Alice. Where are they playing? Let me pull it up here real quick.
Cadmus?
Let me see. Games and locations. Here we go.
But like they had a district where they had to go to San Antonio a lot. So was the fun on that? You know what I mean? Like it's tough, dude. So I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you can do.
So they're playing in Beeville.
That's not too bad for them.
Yeah, And somebody, Frank Santana, there was a district that went to Region 3 last year. Last realignment, I think Wagner was Region 3. Smithson Valley may have been Region 3. No.
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah, there was a few schools in the San Antonio area that got lumped into a Region 3. So yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, Smithson Valley was Region 3 the last 2 years because they had the 2 epic battles with College Station, lost one and they won it last year, and then they kicked the living crap out of our I think it was Veterans Memorial one year
Yes.
in the state semis.
Yep. That was the year that But back to playoff talk, right? Because we're trending again. We will have definitely definitely an off-season show where we need some filler time is talking about realignments and stuff. But Region 3 and 5A D1, I mean, it's still looking the same, right? It's still looking like it's gonna be the Brazos Valley, right? College Station and A&M Consolidated are kind of on their warpath to meet in the region finals. Barbers Hill, I think they're gonna come out on top of LaPorte. Angleton beat Pflugerville Weiss last week by a touchdown. That was kind of a shocker to some people. They've got Port Arthur Memorial. College Station's got Lufkin. I think we'll see Memorial, Port Arthur, and College Station there in that region semi. And then
Memorial's solid.
I think Barbers Hill is going to end up seeing A&M Consolidated, who's playing Galveston Ball. And then you'll see that crosstown rivalry there in the region finals again. Rematch from the regular season.
Yep. I'll tell you what, though, you can't sleep on Port Arthur Memorial and you can't sleep on Galveston Ball. And you really can't sleep on Lufkin. Like, even though they're not the favorites in that region, I've seen crazier stuff happen there in the playoff season. So that's an interesting region to get to watch out for.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because you think that College Station and A&M Consolidated are on this warpath, and then you have a team get hot, like Lufkin maybe gets hot. And I've seen Barbers Hill make runs.
Yes.
So that's a what looks to be clean cut and dry favorites there. I don't know, man. It could be. It's one that I think you put a little star next to if you're a fan of football. That's a good region to kind of dive into and catch those games, man. They're gonna be on Texan Live. They're gonna be great games. The next couple of weeks in that region are gonna be fire. I can tell you that right now.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a good one.
And in our region, you've got Piper. Flower Bluff taking the trip to San Antonio. They are playing at Piper Stadium, Warrior Stadium there on campus. So Piper's got a home game. I think in that one, well, let's go through the rest, right? So you got Vets and San Antonio Southwest. That will be, let me pull that up real quick. I should have had it up already, but
are Corpus Christi Vets or is it the Brownville Vets?
Corpus Christi Vets. Christi Vets. Oh, come on. Of course, it would freeze, right?
Corpus Christi Vets in that game.
Yeah, I think so. They're saying the Southwest team,
Dragons, right?
Yeah, they're saying the Southwest team's a better team. So we've seen these teams in the playoffs. They've lost to Flower Bluff the last few rounds, first round, second round when they've played. I think Vets beat them a few years ago. They are having a hard time getting past the Corpus Christi districts. If the Vets team shows up that played Flower Bluff week 11, I think Vets takes it.
I think so too.
But if it's the Vets that's kind of lumped around the rest of the season, I think this 11-0 Southwest team can take it to them. It depends what Jekyll and Hyde team shows up that week.
Dude, give me the non-shoe tying football belt wearing 5'8", the great Ben Bittner and the Eagles over Southwest, no matter who shows up that day. For whatever reason, dude, that San Antonio group outside of Somerset kind of has a hard draw with the Coastal Bend.
They do. Oh, so Vets is playing at Cabinets. They've got a home game Friday at 7 p.m.
Even more so.
Yep. So you've got that in your corner. So yeah, and Moreno just said that too. Vets plays at Cabinets, I believe. Yes, you are correct. And then you've got PSJ North facing New Braunfels, who beat San Antonio J handily, 56-14 in that first round.
I thought this was going to be a pretty good game, dude.
I think so. And this is actually it's in Calallen.
Yes,
Friday.
That's what I was talking about. Friday night, right?
Yes, Friday night. It's in Calallen. So if you don't want to go see the GP game, you want to watch a game Friday night, your team's out of the playoffs, go check this one out. I think it's like $7 to get in. Yeah. There should be plenty of seats. It should be a good one. 10-1 PSJ North against 8-3 New Braunfels, which is also in a tough district up there. So that 8-3 record's kind of misleading.
I got the Unicorns, dude.
You're gonna go with the Horns?
I love the Unicorns.
I'm gonna go with North in that one.
I love their name, dude.
And then in the last game, you've got Vela and Smithson Valley. Smithson Valley coming off a 49-7 win over South San, and Vela coming over a 58-27 win over Harlingen South. I think I'm going to take the Rangers in this one. As much as it may disappoint the Valley fans, what Valley fans we have down there, I think the Rangers are going to take this one.
What do we think of that Edinburgh team? Are they having a pretty good run right now?
They've been quiet. I think their only loss was to North,
PSG.
but they've done it pretty quiet this year. They've got a new head coach, right, this year. But they've done what they've done in the past. They've taken care of business. But they've just been very quiet. But I think just Smithson Valley is just going to have too much.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Smithson Valley, dude. Especially in playoff football, Larry Hill, they're usually rolling pretty good and whatnot. I got Smithson Valley taking that one as well.
So that'll take us to 5A D2, Region 3. Again, across the board, no big surprises here. Everybody won that was supposed to win. Region 1, Region 2. Actually, one that was a surprise was a Nederland going down to Texas High. So big.
Yes.
Texarkana, Texas High, 56-14.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting if Texas High can get past Crandall, which I don't think they'll have a problem doing this week. If PNG can get past Kaufman, that's going to be a nice third round matchup there.
Wait, this is the Randall though. Crandall, right?
Crandall.
Is it the ranked one?
No, that's Randall.
Okay, that's Randall. They're saying
Randall. And Randall's Region 3.
Okay.
And that Region 3 is a tough one as well, right? So that could take us into that one. So you've got Randall who's playing Elgin. Brenham and Liberty Hill. That's kind of a throwback classic game right there.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since Brenham has kind of been what they're doing this season.
Yes. Love it.
So that's going to be a good classic game there. You've got Bastrop over they're playing Fort Bend Marshall. Then you've got Pflugerville, Iowa Colony. We talked about that Iowa Colony team last week that had 5 running backs at over 500 yards each rushing, or averaging over 5 yards a carry, I think is what it was. And they have one senior in that bunch. They got a sophomore quarterback who can throw. He's a mobile quarterback. He's got some running yards. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I think Iowa Colony comes out of that bottom bracket, and I think they're going to see Randall there in that rematch for district.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I like it.
Yeah. But, man, that Brenham Liberty Hill winner is going to give Randall fits there in the third round.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
And then in our region, we got a couple local games here in the area. First one being Alamo Heights at Mercedes. They're playing at Buck Stadium Thursday night. I think that's an easy one, right?
Alamo Heights is going to take care of that business pretty quick. But I'll say this, dude: if you have nothing going on Thursday night, get out there to Buck Stadium and watch Michael Terry. You're not going to get this
number one athlete in the nation.
Number one athlete in the nation. Probably going to go to UT. It seems like, I think, from the Lotus recruiting trail. But the number one athlete in the nation. I've seen in the last 3 years. Dude's an animal. He's worth the $7 or $8 you have to pay CCISD to go in there and watch him. And it's not often that you can see the number one athlete in the country playing this close.
Coming here. Yes.
Coming here.
Yep. And then the bottom half of that bracket, you got Miller at Sharyland Pioneer. I think Miller runs away with that one. I don't think that's even but the biggest thing that I want to take out of that is for Miller not to take these guys too lightly.
Yes.
Because we've got a big follower of the show that he's readily admitted we need to take these Valley teams seriously because they punch us in the mouth.
Oh, he's worried.
2 times.
He's worried.
Yeah.
He's worried. He's not in the show. That's crazy.
And then we're talking about Victoria West earlier. They've got Alice, which will be in Beeville. So that's going to be a good one there. Yes. Alice is playing very good football right now.
They are.
After stumbling out of the blocks, people were saying, woe is me, the sky is falling. They've come around. They're playing some very good football right now. They played a very good game last week. They put up 54 points against a Brownsville Pace team last week. So pretty good. And then the bottom half of the bracket, you've got Ed Couch playing Bernie. I was a little surprised with what Bernie did against Carroll last week. Or I guess to say lack of what they did. It was a 39-21.
Yeah, that's a little shocking.
Yeah. So I think Ed Couch may have a shot. I think Bernie's is gonna win, but I think he's gonna make it interesting. I think they're gonna make it interesting.
That's fair. That's a good take. What do we know about this Ed Couch team? Is this like Ed Couch of the past, like La Maquina, sold out crowds, tough as hell to beat, or is this just a little revamp of what we've seen the last 8 years of just mediocre football?
Dude, I would like to see it if it was the old days and they're going to bring everybody up here.
I would love it to be the old days. I miss La Maquina, dude. They were tough. They were a tough crowd.
Yeah, and that is going to be, and I don't think they're coming here. It's in Laredo, so that's, I guess that's a halfway for both of them.
Eesh.
It may be a little bit. It's about a 2.5 hour drive for both. You go by Yellow Dog, it's probably 3.
You think the Bernie fans travel to that game?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I don't see much home side there for Bernie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. But that's a neutral spot there. So there's our region 4 in 5AD2. 4AD1, region 3. Again, no big surprises across the board. People raise their eyebrows with Andrews beating Burnett there in week 1 in region 1.
Wonder why.
I don't know. Lot of
Burnett's region 1 now.
Say that again.
Burnett is region 1.
Yeah. Again,
They used to be a region 3, region 4 squad.
Yeah,
I seen them in Sinton throw down in 4A.
Well, they'll see. This is the same one where Lampasas is in region 1.
Yep. Stephen McGee and Jordan Shipley came and wrecked shop here at a freaking Buck Stadium against Sinton one year.
Yeah.
I think that might be region finals.
Huh.
Somewhere there.
I wasn't here.
Yep, that's pretty neat. But yeah, I remember them being region 4, region 3 forever.
And then I think a pretty good matchup there in region 2 is going to be Salina and Kennedale. They're in that round 2 matchup, but I think that's Selena's region to run away with.
Yes, absolutely.
And then region 3, you've got Kilgore versus Needville. Your boys Lindale versus Navasota. Somebody in there said Navasota's going to give Lindale a run this week. Somebody here in the chat said that.
I could see that. Navasota's had some days of in the past where they've had some really good runs. I haven't checked in too far on them this year, but if it's history kind of talking about itself, I could see it. I could definitely see that.
And
then tap in a little more for us up there, dude. A little more connected to the ground up there, dude. Put some boots on the ground.
Definitely. Hey, that's your neck of the woods out there, dude. You feel like that's that same Lindale area, kind of, isn't it? So, you need to start digging in that territory a little more, dude. Then you've got Chapel Hill against Worthing. Houston Worthing. Daniel Gonzalez said Houston Worthing's a surprise. Been a long time since the HISD team was in the second round. They thought we talked about Yates going to the second round. It didn't happen. But that would have been something. They Navasota handled them 49-18.
Yeah.
So you've got that. I think Chapel Hill takes that one. You got Stafford against Pine Tree, which should be a good game, but I think Pine Tree is all over that one. I think we're seeing Chapel Hill Pine Tree region semifinal there. And then our bracket, you've got Austin LBJ versus Lavernia, which could be a good ball game. For a while there, LBJ was there in a fight with Fredericksburg. They ended up turning it on there later, but it was 42-14. Fredericksburg led that game probably through the whole first quarter, maybe.
Yes.
We were kind of surprised with that. Then you got the rematch, Davenport and Port Lavaca Calhoun, which is going to be, I think that's a little further up north.
Did Austin LBJ, isn't that their old district that they're with the Billies and Lampasas and all them when they were in 4A? Last time before they got bumped up?
No, I
thought they were a district, dude. I thought they were in there with Lampasas, Fredericksburg, and all those guys.
Man, I don't think so.
Keep going. I'll look real quick.
I'd have to go back and look.
Keep going.
So you've got that Lavernia team who's playing very good football right now. They beat Toloso Midway 49-17 last week. That first playoff win eluded Toloso Midway again. They're getting there. They're turning the corner. They're getting there. And then, like I said, you've got Davenport and PLC in Bastrop. A lot of folks are saying Port Lavaca is going to take this one. I think it's going to be a repeat of last year. And I think I said this last week when we saw, because we anticipated this game. I think Davenport's just going to handle this one and meet LBJ there in the region semis. And then the bottom half, you got Canyon Lake against Bay City. Bay City put up 87 against Hidalgo last week. And we said that last week on the show, Daniel, that LBJ hasn't played anybody but Wimberley, but they're doing what they're supposed to do against these teams. They're putting up a lot of points and giving up very few.
There you go, dude.
If they were struggling, I would raise an eyebrow, but they're not. They're putting these teams away. They've given up 14. I think we said 17 points in district play, and 14 was in one game. So they're doing what they need to do. They are not a bad team.
So
What do you think?
LBJ, Canyon Lake, Burnett, Fredericksburg, and Taylor back in 2020 and 21. 4A Region 4 District 13 football.
Yeah.
That's a little old familiar foe there. I wonder what it's now. I know I'm digging into this, but I'm just getting a little history on the LBJ rundown back then and what they're doing now. They're in
well, remember they dropped down. The last realignment, they were up in 5A D2.
Right, yeah. So now it's Taylor, Travis.
It's an Austin ISD district.
Yeah. Worthing, Austin. Yeah, there's only 3 schools in it.
No, you got to look at complete
standings. Oh, here we go. Full standings. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin Achieve 0-6. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot better, I think, for them. No, they're a good squad, dude. 11-0. I think they handle Lavernia. I think they take care of Lavernia pretty easy. They beat Wimberley 27-16 week 2. Beat Cornerstone 33-21. Other than that, I haven't been tested a whole lot, but they've done what they were supposed to do.
Yeah,
and I think they take care of Lavernia in this one.
Yeah, I hope it's interesting. Daniel thinks PLC is gonna take that Davenport. I mean,
good luck.
The record shows for itself. I mean, like I said, last year they thought it was going to be close, and it was like a 50 piece to 16.
50 piece nugget.
Yeah, something like that. So, and then you've got, like we talked about with Coach Reeve, Cal at Somerset. I think Cal Allen's going to take that one, and I think they'll see Bay City.
I think Cal Allen wins that as well. And then you get the old school rivalry right there at Bay City.
I think that's going to be so the third round, we're on days this week, and there's no guarantee. I might not even make it. We may not make it to any games at all this week because of work.
Well, I got to go Friday night now because we play at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. I just got that schedule right before I got on the show.
Oh, we'll see. But there you go.
So now I'm sitting here reeling, trying to figure out but I might be able to get done and go watch Cent game.
Maybe. They play at 2:00 on Saturday at Comalander.
If you don't go, I don't go. But that's a possibility.
Well, that's my goal, right? I'm trying not to work on Saturday. I've already got to work probably Thursday and Friday. I was supposed to be off Thursday and Friday. More than likely, I'm working. I don't anticipate working Saturday or Sunday, but we'll be back to work. I'll be back to work Monday night.
Money talks, though.
Oh, dude, Christmas is right around the corner. But I think Cal Allen gets that one, and then that's setting the stage in all classifications for some epic matchups in round 3.
Big time.
And then we jump to 4AD2. No big surprises. You know, Brock's doing their thing up in Region 1. They came up with a 46-10 win over Godley. They've got Lubbock Estacado this week. Let me see. What else we got here? Region 2, Pleasant Grove, 56-14 win over Bullard. They got Farmersville this week. And then Carthage is playing Crum. Carthage coming off a 49-0 win over Spring Hill. Crum coming off 24-14 Quinlan Ford. Next week's matchup between, I'm saying it now, Carthage and Pleasant Grove is going to be a good one.
Be epic, dude.
Yep. And then Region 3, you know, Hampshire Fannett, 49-14 over Lamarck. They're going to play Sealy, who comes off a 63-34 win over Robinson. Then you've got West Columbia and Gatesville in that other half of the bracket. Here's a good matchup here. Belleville and Silsby. Draylon Miller. We talked about Draylon Miller last week. He got like Big 12 Freshman of the Week last year for what he did with Colorado last week's game. Yeah.
That's because he wasn't playing very much when he first started this year.
Nope.
There's a lot of hate out there on him.
Yep. Then you got a good one here, a classic one, La Vega and West Orange Stark.
That's classic.
That's going to be a good one. So that bottom half of the bracket is going to be tough, dude.
Very tough.
Because next week you've got either a West Orange Stark, La Vega versus Belleville.
Yep. And so I think we had Belleville is the favorite coming out of that?
I think they're the favorite. Hampshire Fannett's playing some pretty good football. They may have something to say about that in the region finals. But I think
football.
I think you've got I think you've got to say Belleville's and we talked about that last week, right at the playoff show. I think Belleville's coming out of the region.
I think so too.
But they've got a murderer's row, dude, of to get there. So I mean, they've got to stay healthy.
Yeah, it's no easy. That's not an easy sled. And Beck, I'm going to be in San Antonio. I just got to break away.
And then in our region,
Jacked.
we've got Wimberley at Rockport Fulton, which is Thursday night at Warrior Stadium. If you don't want to go watch Alamo Heights play, you've got another good ball game there. Rockport Fulton is playing very good football right now. Very good football.
Dude, I really thought about going to that game Thursday night over Alamo Heights.
Well, I mean, you've seen Michael Terry play. I haven't. I've seen Cody Stover play. You haven't. Right? So
No, I saw Cody play, I think, against Cuero that one year.
On TV, though, right?
No, I was in the dome that year.
Oh, was it that? Oh, it was that year.
That was his coming out party.
Yeah. And then you've got Navarro versus Cuero in that half. Cuero coming off that 83-20 win over La Feria. Navarro coming off a 56-14 win over Carrizo Springs. And then you've got everybody's favorite, the Coastal Band, right? Sitting, coming off that 84-0 win over Grula, playing Salado, and they're playing at Comalander Stadium Saturday at 2 o'clock.
So what do we know about Salado?
I know nothing. Did anybody here know anything about Salado, guys? Anybody?
They're out of Wimberley's district. They finished second in Wimberley's district, correct?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I'm not sure. And then you've got another old school throwback matchup with Port Isabel at Lago Vista, and they're playing Friday in Javelina Stadium. That should be a good one too. Port Isabel, Tough Talking Tony's got those guys back, and they're playing some pretty good football right now. That should be a pretty good game. That Port Isabel Lago Vista. You Kingsville folks, if you guys don't want to make the trip to Corpus for any games, go check that one out. It's right in your backyard. But I think, just like before, I think I've Sitton and Wimberley in the region finals, and I think Sitton's just has enough this year to get over the hump. I don't think Derek played last week. I don't think there's a reason to.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We got a spammer in here, I think.
Yeah.
I think, right? You guys think that's a spammer?
That's how you know you made it.
Oh yeah. I think that that's definitely a
sure
game. Let's delete that here. So yeah, I've got Sitton coming and Wimberley in the region finals, and I think Sitton just gets over the hump this year.
I think so too. Still fair.
3A D1. Guys, you guys chime in, man. If you guys got anything to say, if you guys disagree with what we're saying, chime in, give your opinion. This show's y'all's show too. It's not just ours. Anything out of Region 1? Your Jim Ned team.
Yeah, Jim Ned's still rolling.
Came out over Iowa Park, 38-20. Like I said, I think that was kind of Vernon, just like we said, how Vernon used to be pretty good back in the 80s, 90s, 28-9 win over Sweetwater. But I think looking at this, dude, Shallow Water 63-0 over Brownfield. I think you're going to see Shallow Water and probably Jim Ned in that region finals.
Yeah. And Shallow Water, I think, was what a lot of people have the favorite coming out.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so see, Derek did not play last week. He's rested up. I guess he plays this week. So they should be clicking on all four cylinders again.
Region 2, you're going to have Malakoff, right? Malakoff and Maypearl. I think Malakoff wins that. They're probably one of the favorites.
Yeah, and then you've got that third round matchup with Grandview probably. And you've got Grandview coming out of the region, if I remember right?
Yes.
Yeah, I went with the defending state champ. I've got Malakoff in that one. I think everybody else is just kind of feeder food for the winner of that battle there in round 3. And then Region 3, Palestine Westwood, that 10-0 controversial Connor Stallions team, 42-33 over Hardin. They play your Columbus Cardinals this week.
Big time matchup right there for my Cards, dude. That's a huge one.
Yep, they came out on top, 48-14 over Cameron Yo. Then the bottom half of that bracket, you got Yoakum and Fairfield. I'm going to take Yoakum in that one. Yoakum coming off a 47-28 win over Troy. Fairfield 49-42 over Orangefield, which was kind of a surprise. Fairfield was the dog in that one.
Fairfield.
Yeah. And then you've got the bottom half of the bracket, Franklin 48-6 over Hallettsville. They're going to place Diboll. Or is it Diboll? Diboll? Yeah, Diboll. So they've got them. And then you've got Hitchcock over Teague. I think we're just heading steamrolling towards that rematch of Hitchcock and Columbus.
Yeah,
in the region finals.
yeah, and you can't never count Franklin out though. That's the
You
scary.
can't, you can't. But I think,
That's the scary part about them.
I think they've got the similar loss with that Legacy School of Sports and Science.
Yep.
They've got that and they were both close games in that
Yes.
one. So that's going to be a pretty even matchup. That's going to be a good third round matchup. My opinion, that does Columbus favors.
Absolutely.
Yep. I think that does Columbus favors. They're going to be.
You got to keep in mind, they don't have their quarterback.
They do not have their quarterback. They do not. Still put up 42 last week against Little River Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then the bottom half of the bracket, you got Llano and Orange Grove, which should be, I think, a pretty good game.
I think Llano walks away with it.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll see. And we were right. That Orange Grove San Diego game turned out to be a great game. Won off a punt return with 20 seconds left in the ball game. Orange Grove returns a kick, I think 60 yards.
That's tough, dude.
And kicks the extra point and walks away with the win, man.
That's tough.
Yeah, but it's exactly what we said it was going to be. It was going to be a fun game. And I think Jerry Perkins in here just trying to stir. Franklin's going to win that region. You're out of your mind, Jerry. You're out of your mind. And then, so this was a surprise here, was Marion over Jourdanton, 46-14.
Yeah.
I don't think I think you had Jourdanton as a favorite to come to go in the region finals, right?
I had Jourdanton to give these guys a run for their money in Region 3. Yeah, I didn't have them coming out of Region 3, but I felt like they would give our Region 4, but I felt like they would give a lot more of a fight than this. I thought they were around 3-team probably for sure.
Yeah.
And that backfired quickly.
And then you've got Goliad at Marion, which should be a very good game.
Yes.
We saw what Goliad did, what they can do, the athletes they've got. They just played against a much better Edna team.
Yeah, I think Goliad wins that game. I still think you're going to see an Edna-Llano matchup for the region final. And then I think Edna's going to come out on top on that one. I just do something about them.
Yeah, so Edna's got San Antonio Cole this week. Edna coming off a 63-0 win over Lyford. Cole, 56-42 win over Ingram Moore. Their quarterback is up for one of the Dave Campbell Awards this year. I think the Mr. Texas Football of the Week Award. He had himself a night. I just pulled it up here real quick. Quarterback Jackson Fields, 11 of 19, 320 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 16 carries, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good night for a playoff game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But I think Edna's too good. I think Edna walks away with that one.
Yeah.
And then you've got a pretty good matchup here. One you probably wouldn't. I don't think we've ever seen this matchup before. Is Rio Hondo and Randolph.
Never seen that matchup before.
Yeah, that's a wild one, right? So I'm just going to go with my Rohawks in this one, and that is actually here at TM on Friday at 7.
Okay.
So we have a lot of good football games in the area. A lot.
TM's hosting, man.
Dude, yeah, it's the new stadiums. Way to go, Van Matry and company, getting all that stuff done out there and upgrading that stadium.
They are hosting.
But I'm going to take Randolph in this one. Rio Hondo's playing good football right now. They beat London 52-20 last week. Randolph coming out that win over Hondo 59-39. I think in all actuality, Rio Hondo would probably be the favorite, but I think Randolph's going to take it.
I think Randolph as well will come out on that one and win. I think their quarterback will have another good solid game too as well.
Yeah, and then it would be cool, and we talked about this before. If Cole could get by Edna and Randolph get this when you get the Military Bowl in the region semis.
That would be the rematch, right?
What's that?
That'd be the rematch?
No, they didn't play. They weren't in the same district this year.
Wow, okay. They didn't
so they didn't schedule a non-district game, which is weird. But so that's pretty cool. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. 3AD2, another tough district. Columbus came out, did what they're. I'm sorry, Canadian came out 53-6 over Muleshoe. They're doing their thing. Wall did their thing 74-6. I think we see those two teams in the region final. I still have Wall coming out of the region, and I think you have Canadian, right?
Yeah, I got Canadian coming out.
Yeah, I've got the Hawks coming out in that one. Region 2. Holiday 85 points over Dublin. I think they take that top half of the bracket, get to the region finals, and play.
Oh, that was exciting, dude.
Huh? Yeah, Kyle Atwood. So he made a statement there. 85 points in the first round.
Yeah.
But I think you see them at Gunter in the region finals with Gunter taking the region.
Yep.
But those are some pretty good matchups there. If that pans out the way it is, there's 3 more weeks of football to get there. You've got Gunter playing Holiday and then potentially playing Canadian or Wall there in the Final Four.
In the past couple of years in the Final Four, we've had some really good matchups between Gunner and Canadian to go to state.
Yeah.
Really good matchups. So it'll be interesting.
Region 3, Grand Saline doing their thing, 68-27 over Hooks. They've got Woodville this round. Then you got DeKalb, 64-32 win over Lone Oak. They're playing Troop. It was a 35-6 win over Anderson Shiro. I think Grand Saline takes that top half of the bracket. Then you got your boys, New Diana, 43-21 over New Waverly. Dangerfield, 35-14 over Gilmer Harmon. They play this week. Then Newton, who's there coming out of the bottom half of the bracket, who I had coming out of the region. They beat West Rust 60-24. Edgewood coming over New Boston 54-28. I think Newton Diana is going to be a very good matchup there in round 3. Again, another heavyweight battle that could have been a region final, depending on how this realignment shook out.
Absolutely.
Then you got the bottom half of the bracket, which is us. You got Van Vleck coming over that last second Hail Mary pass over Blanco, that little flea flicker play they ran there, 48-41 with 20 seconds left in the ball game. They're gonna face Catula, who came out 50-7 win over Santa Rosa. Tidehaven 62-30 win over Thrall. They played Dilly, who's playing very good football. That's going to be a very good matchup there. That Dilly Tidehaven game, and I think that's local too. Let me double check. I think it's in Mathis. I think it's in Mathis.
Really?
Yeah. It is. It's in Mathis Friday. And then Van Vleck Catula is in Odom.
Okay.
Then you've got
the Bean.
Yeah, he may make an Odom sighting. Poth and East Bernard, that's going to take place in Victoria. That is probably the game of the week in Region 4.
That's a good one, dude.
That's going to be a good one.
Are you going?
I wish we could be there. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Thanks a lot, VISD.
I wish we could be there. And then to finish out the bracket, George West at Lexington. I think George West meets their match in Lexington this week, and that's going to be in Hallettsville.
I think you're right. Man, I'd love to see George West get that game.
So I've got Poth Tidehaven in the region finals. I
had East Bernard coming out of the region.
With you really? So you've got East Bernard this week, huh?
I had East Bernard coming out of the region.
Okay, so I've got Poth and Tidehaven with Poth coming out of the region. I think, like I told you, like I said last week in the show, I think Poth represents Region 4 at Jerry World.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd love to see it.
No, it would be cool. It would be cool. 2 out of the last 3 years, Poth would be there. And then you got 2AD1. Sunray doing their thing. I think we all had Sunray coming out of Region 1.
Sunray's a good one to watch.
Yep. And I think Region 2 is kind of wide open. Still, I can't put my finger on anybody that I think is gonna kind of wreck shop and come out of there. I think it's wide open.
This is 3AD2, right?
Yes. Oh, 2AD1. Sorry, 2AD1.
Sorry. Well, you had Stanford, right? We had Stanford.
Did we have Stanford?
Stanford in Region 1. I want to say we had Stanford and Sunray in Region 1. I think I took Sunray in Region 1. But you go down to Region 2, and yeah, it's everywhere. Region 2 is everywhere.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Mildred.
I don't remember who I picked. I have to go back and watch the tape because I didn't write any of this down. I got to go back and check the tape.
Where's my paper? I had my paper when I took last week.
I don't think I wrote anything down on it. I'm looking at it now, and all I did was write the winners from last week.
Mildred
and scores.
I think Mildred is who I took coming out of that.
Okay. And they came off a 56-13 win
And
over Rio
I'm
Vista.
only coming off of that, and I only came off that last week when I was just looking at my stuff based off their ranked in state. I looked at their record; it was pretty solid, give or take on what they did. You know what I mean? But I don't. That's just me shooting from the hip. Like, whether they make it or not, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
that was probably your best bet. And then you pop into Region 3. I think we both had Honeygrove, right? Honeygrove's our.
I thought I had Wascom.
You had Wascom. You had Wascom. I had Honeygrove, I think.
Yeah. And Wascom coming off that 67-20 win over Omaha Paul Pewitt. Honeygrove 56-20, almost the exact same score over Elysian Fields. And then that bottom half, you got Shelbyville, Beckville, Joaquin, and Cooper. I think next week's going to decide who comes out of the region, and that's Honeygrove and Wascom next week.
Yeah.
And then we got Region 4.
Lapped on somebody last week, dude.
Say that again?
Ganado smacked it on someone last week, like 80-something points, right?
75-15 over Skidmore Tynan.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that was a lot of high-scoring games. Marlin 51, Holland 7, Schulenburg 42, Three Rivers 28, Mason 69, Rosebud Lot 14, Weimer 57, Santa Maria 13. That game was here in Odom. San Saba 15, Crawford 21. I think that kind of raised some folks' eyebrows with Crawford coming out on top of San Saba.
Absolutely. 3-8 Crawford.
Refugio 65, Kennedy 6, and Riesel 35, Thorndale 41. Ganado and Refugio next week.
Yeah, and then you have
Mason and Marlin. Next week is, like I said, all across the board, dude. Region 3 is going to be, or week 3 is going to be knockout football, dude.
Yeah, week 3 is going to be really good. I think you can't sleep on Mason.
No, I don't think so either.
Ganado, you can't sleep on them if you're a Bobcat. Schulenburg's had an okay year, nothing special, but they got waxed by Ganado early on in the year.
Yeah.
It was 10-1. That one lost to East Bernard. They played up. So I don't know, dude.
And then the last bracket, 2AD2. I think we all had Groover coming out of Region 1. They did what they're supposed to do, 49-6 over Morton. One of the teams I'd like in there, just because I think they're cool, is Hale Center. 61-6 over Bovina. They got Tacoma this week. Tahunka?
Tahoma or Tacoma?
Tahunka. Tahoka. Tahunka? Well, I guess that's how you say it. So they've got them this week, who's coming off a 46-19 win over El Dorado. I think you could see a Hale Center Groover matchup with Groover taking the. I think we all had Groover taking the region.
Groover for sure.
I'll
see what we had, or see what the.
Then Region 2, you've got Windthorst against Miles. Windthorst coming off a 62-14 win over Quanah. And then you've got Albany, Archer City down in the bottom half, Munster, and Wheeler. I think I've got Munster coming out of the bottom and Windthorst coming out of the top. And I'm just going to go with our Windthorst boys taking the region.
Windthorst boys, ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
A year later.
Yeah, dude. I think one of them's married now.
No way.
I think the quarterback, Sai's married now.
We are old.
We are old, dude. Yeah. And then Region 3. Yeah. Region 3, Goldthwaite are going to be playing Grapeland. Martin Overton. I think we still have Mark coming out of that top half of the bracket.
For sure.
Yeah, you got Lovelady and Bremond.
So Lovelady and Bremond, you can't. Both those teams have some classics to them. Yep. Lovelady 92, and then I think Bremond had a similar, 9-2 as well. Lost to Mart, really close game to Mart, and a loss to Grapeland, really close game to Grapeland. So both those schools right there, that's going to be a really good matchup. Bremond and Lovelady, that's going to be a badass game.
Enterprise and Worthington fill out the bracket. I think the winner from that Lovelady Bremen game is going to take that bottom half, and they'll see Mart. And I think we all had Mart coming out of the region.
Yes.
And then the bottom half, you got Somerville playing of Ben Bolt team that's playing very good football right now. You know, I think that should make a pretty good matchup there. Ben Bolt coming off a 38-19 win over Yorktown. Somerville 45-0 over D'Hanis. Then you got Junction Falls City in the bottom half. I think you see Falls City and Ben Bolt in the region semis. And then you got Shiner, Bracketville, the bottom half of the bracket. Lavia over Granger. I think Shiner takes that half, and they take the region.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
China looking pretty solid. Fall
Yeah.
City, always good.
But that's it, dude. That's what we got. Obviously, our show next week will be a lot shorter. We will probably end up doing a daytime show next week because we will be on
Mondays.
we'll be on nights. Yeah, so I'll probably end up working Tuesday night. So we'll probably do a Tuesday afternoon show. We'll do another live shoot Tuesday afternoon show before I head into work.
I might just wander out there.
Hey, whatever, dude. I mean,
I'm
We're
here
gonna-
for
if
the
it's-
walk downs.
if it's what they say it's gonna be, we're gonna need all the help we can get. Oh man. But guys, if you agree with us, hit us up in the chat, hit us up in the comments later after the show's over. Let us know, shoot us a DM, do something. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Elite Tank Solutions. Thank you to Brian and Zach over at Al Williford Chevrolet. Thank you for Bubba and family over at Dawson's Recycling. We appreciate everything you guys do for us and what it allows us to do for the student athletes here in the Coastal Bend and beyond, right? Because we go to some other games, we honor some other kids, put some other kids on the radar as well. So guys, thanks for everything y'all do. Everybody else, thanks for watching. And we will see y'all next week.